Hey everyone! Welcome to The Young and the Restless. I'm Jane, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Young and the Restless, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, July 8th, show that Chelsea Lawson may come to Victoria Newman's rescue, while Mariah Copeland suffers a devastating blow. Daniel Romalotti Jr. will also receive some major news, so let's chat about what's next on YNR. Danny Romalotti will inform Daniel on the status of his marriage proposal plan, which is now officially underway. Danny is eager to spend the rest of his life with Christine Blair, so he'll go all out for a romantic evening together. Danny has already informed Daniel of his decision, but he will now finalize the specifics of his planned major gesture. If everything goes well, Christina could have a ring on her finger later in the week of July 7th to 11th. Meanwhile, Mariah's secrecy and isolation will test Tessa Porter's patience. Tessa can't understand why Mariah would sooner damage their marriage than be honest and work through this together. Mariah will feel bad about placing Tessa in this situation, but she believes she must deal with it on her own. Mariah's flashbacks suggest a criminal cover-up. Mariah may be attempting to save Tessa from incriminating herself, but there will be consequences. Tessa will determine that this separation should be permanent, and Mariah will realize that divorce is already an option. It will be a crushing blow, but it might not be enough to get Mariah to come clean. Across town, Victoria will be at a low place now that Cole Howard has died. It will be difficult to let go of all the plans they made together, so Victoria will struggle throughout her mourning on Tuesday's YNR. Fortunately, someone from Victoria's past will come to her rescue. Although Nate Hastings will certainly offer comfort in the future episodes, it appears Chelsea will be the first in line. Victoria's family members are now in France, so Chelsea will come through for her and lend a sympathetic ear. It will allow Chelsea to do something constructive while she waits for Adam Newman to arrive home. According to the Young and the Restless teasers, Victoria will open out about her struggles and continue to put one foot in front of the other. Young and Restless revealed just what Mariah did. Will it mean losing Tessa for good? Mariah's deep, dark secret has just been revealed on the Young and the Restless, and the repercussions are significant. In fact, it could end her marriage to Tessa for good. Chelsea's timely intervention to save Victoria from despair was nothing short of miraculous, and those who witnessed it will remember it forever. The tension had been growing for weeks, a sense of dread that no one could pinpoint until Mariah's premeditated betrayal sent shockwaves through their close-knit network. Victoria, who was normally the pinnacle of strength and resilience, had been caught off guard by Mariah's crushing blow, a betrayal so profound and personal that it left her reeling, questioning every contact, shared secret, and moment of trust that had once seemed unshakable. The consequences were immediate and devastating. Victoria, who had always been the rock for others, found herself cracking beneath the weight of Mariah's lie, her confidence broken, her normal poise replaced by a heartbreaking vulnerability to see. Chelsea stepped in during this moment of terrible misery, her intuition quick and her allegiance unwavering. She had spotted the indications before anybody else, the subtle changes in Mariah's conduct, the way her words no longer matched her deeds, and the quiet manipulations that had gone unnoticed by everyone except her. Chelsea had attempted to warn Victoria, but the relationship between her and Mariah appeared unbreakable, until it wasn't. When the truth was ultimately revealed, it was like a dam breaking, allowing no place for denial. Mariah had been playing a lengthy game, creating a web of deceit so elaborate that even those closest to her were duped. Her intentions were opaque, a combination of jealousy, ambition, and a long-buried anger. The ultimate blow was purposeful, a public humiliation intended to destroy Victoria and deprive her of the respect and adoration she had worked so hard to achieve. The savagery was astonishing, and it appeared that Victoria might not recover. But Chelsea wouldn't let that happen. She had always been the quiet presence in the background, the one who observed more than she spoke, the buddy who showed up when it counted the most. And during Victoria's lowest hour, she became her lifeline. Chelsea's rescue mission was deliberate, combining intense protectiveness with clever reasoning. She started by isolating Victoria from the commotion, protecting her from the prying eyes and whispered judgments that followed Mariah's betrayal. She established a safe atmosphere where Victoria could fall apart without fear of being judged, and where she could process her pain without feeling pressured to put on a brave face. Then came the emotional triage. Chelsea listened intently as Victoria expressed her fury, anguish, and disbelief. She did not give false platitudes or hasty answers. Instead, she acknowledged Victoria's anguish, noting the gravity of the betrayal without diminishing it. She slowly and gently helped Victoria piece together the parts of her shattered trust, reminding her of her own strength and the numerous times she had survived adversity in the past. But Chelsea did not stop there. She realized that restoring Victoria's confidence would require more than just emotional support, it would necessitate action. She assisted Victoria in unraveling Mariah's lies, showing the discrepancies and manipulations one by one. Together, they dismantled Mariah's narrative, replacing it with the truth, which was far less damning for Victoria than Mariah had intended. Chelsea also contacted their common acquaintances, who had been misled by Mariah's account of events, and delivered the facts with calm, unshakable clarity. People gradually began to see through Mariah's veneer, seeing the toxicity of her behavior. The tide started to turn, and Victoria, despite her injuries, began to regain her footing. The most powerful aspect of Chelsea's rescue was how she enabled Victoria to regain her story. She encouraged her to say the truth, not out of revenge, but out of a desire to correct the record. With Chelsea's help, Victoria regained her voice, confronting the betrayal in a dignified and uncompromising manner. The response was overwhelming. Those who had before doubted her now supported her, their admiration for her only growing in the face of her tenacity. Mariah, on the other hand, found herself isolated, her carefully built lies collapsing under the weight of reality. The devastating blow she had planned for Victoria had backfired, leaving her own reputation in ruins. In the end, what could have been a defeat narrative became a triumph, a monument to the strength of loyalty and the unshakable link of genuine friendship. Chelsea's unrelenting support had given Victoria the courage to rise from the ashes of Mariah's treachery, stronger and more confident than ever. The event had transformed both of them. Victoria had learned the hard way that even the strongest ties can be frail, but she had also discovered Chelsea's depth of affection. Chelsea, for her part, had demonstrated that she was more than simply a friend. She was a protector, a confidant, and the type of person who would be by your side till the end. Mariah's crushing strike was intended to destroy, but it actually revealed the true essence of people around her. Victoria's tenacity and Chelsea's unwavering determination had turned the tables, demonstrating that even the most premeditated betrayals could be overcome with the right people on your side. The event had undoubtedly left wounds, but it had also created an unbreakable kinship between Victoria and Chelsea, one that no amount of lies could ever shatter. Mariah's attempt to rip them apart had, in the end, brought them closer together, a beautiful and just twist of fate. The narrative of Chelsea rescuing Victoria from Mariah's shattering blow was more than simply one of survival, it was also one of atonement, friendship, and the unwavering force of the truth. The consequences of the betrayal remained in subtle ways, creating a quiet undertone of caution that would permanently influence Victoria's dealings. She had learned a painful lesson about trust, and the need of distinguishing actual allies from those who put on a kind face. But she had also learned something even more valuable. Even in her lowest times, she was never truly alone. Chelsea had demonstrated that certain relationships are unshakable, and that friendships can weather even the most terrible storms. And as they moved forward, side by side, the shadow of Mariah's treachery receded into the background, a terrible chapter that had eventually strengthened them. The dynamics of their circle had irreversibly transformed, with Mariah's actions causing ripples that affected everyone. Those who had previously been seduced by her charm now saw her in a different light, their confidence replaced by suspicion. Victoria, while still recuperating, had emerged with a newfound sense of self, no longer dependent on the views of others who did not truly know her. And Chelsea, the story's modest hero, demonstrated that the most powerful gestures of love are often those that go undetected by the public but mean everything to the person who needs them the most. In the broader scheme of things, Mariah's betrayal served as a catalyst for growth, a painful but necessary lesson in the complexity of human relationships. Victoria had faced the worst and emerged, not undamaged, but undeniably stronger. And Chelsea, with her quiet strength and persistent loyalty, had demonstrated that sometimes the best rescues were not dramatic spectacles, but rather the steady, consistent presence of someone who refused to let you fall. They had converted what could have been a story of failure into one of triumph, demonstrating that even the most crushing blows can be overcome with the right person by your side. The echoes of the tragedy would live on, an indelible part of their history, but they would no longer be defined by it. Victoria had recaptured her story, Chelsea had established herself as the friend who was always present, and Mariah's attempt to destroy them had just strengthened their friendship. Finally, the story wasn't about treachery, it was about rescue, perseverance, and the unbreakable force of genuine friendship. And it was a story worth sharing. After weeks of odd behavior and occasional weeping amid a persistent sense of pessimism, young and restless viewers finally got some particular information into the alleged tragic incident that occurred when Mariah got intoxicated on her business trip. We have to state that we agree with her account of the occurrence. Tessa snapped YNR. Mariah's desire to isolate herself from Tessa and Aria is understandable, as she has requested a formal separation and wishes to protect them from the consequences of her actions. Because the consequences would be catastrophic. Tessa YNR. Through flashbacks, a story has emerged of Mariah dealing with the load of her guilt about Ian Ward re-entering people's lives in Genoa City by getting blotto drunk. What started as a tour of her hotel room's minibar quickly turned into an imbibing session in the establishment's lounge bar. We know she met a man there, roughly Ian's age. A man who, in flashbacks, seemed to give off the same eerie, cult-like emotions as Ward. Mariah Mann's memory YNR. However, it was not until the most recent flashback that our worst fears were realized. According to Young and Restless, Mariah and the man took the party back to a hotel room, where she smothered him with a pillow. The plot was not shown. The same one she's gripping while shivering uncontrollably in her flashbacks. Mariah memory pillow YNR. Presumably, weird cult, my guy put the moves on her, and his predatory aura, along with her drunken state, caused her to have flashbacks to Ian. If our suspicions are true, she killed the man not just to prevent him from attacking her, but also because she suddenly believed he was Ward, making him the target of all of her decades of suppressed emotions. If Mariah fled the scene in a panic and has since stayed in a condition of fight or flight, she is unlikely to have understood that she may be able to claim self-defense. Instead, she pushes everyone away in an attempt to keep them from becoming accomplices to murder. Can Mariah and Tessa endure this? Of course. But only if she comes clean before Tessa leaves. The teaser suggests Tessa's request for a permanent separation, and she has been relying heavily on Daniel for assistance, implying Mariah is quickly running out of time.